Okay, we are live. Happy Friday, everyone. We are, what is this, our third Friday, I guess? Second challenge, third Friday. So we are, 13 days into this experiment, into the support for the holiday season. And today I wanted to kind of not be so content heavy, not so much teaching today because we've been doing a lot of that for the last 13 days, and there's a lot coming up for you all. And I want to acknowledge that happens a lot. And, I just want to reflect to you that in all my years doing this work, when people are struggling with their body, when people are struggling with their weight, and it's something that sort of becomes that's sort of chronic. In other words, that they can't seem to figure it out. The classic yo-yoing, right? I lose weight, then I gain it, or I've just spent my entire life not being happy with my weight, or whatever it is. Whenever that's the case, which is the majority of the clients that get to me, whenever that's the case, I always know in the back of my mind and try to gently express that it's generally never just a matter of sort of getting the macronutrient content right, or eliminating the right food or whatever it is. Those people usually find their way to whoever they need to help them with an elimination diet, or with a high protein diet, or a low carb diet, or whatever it is, But for the people who kind of cycle through over and over again, which, if I'm honest, is the vast majority of people, there is such an emotional connection to and with food. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always a negative emotional connection, but food fires and wires in our brain in a pretty substantial and significant way. And so whenever we're trying to unwire or detangle our patterns of eating, when it's chronic like this and people have been struggling with it for quite some time and they have a real hard time just being able to get out of that struggle, it's an indicator to me that there is some deeper firing and wiring that's going on with food. Because if it were not, it would be simple to just say, oh, I know that this thing isn't serving me, I'm going to skip it. I'm going to leave it out. No big deal. And then people, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be struggling with this in a more chronic or consistent way. Food is used for joy. Food is used to numb. Food is used habitually. Food is used consciously and non-consciously, And so when we have these patterns of behavior that have been going on for so long, as we're trying to disrupt them, it can make things pretty uncomfortable. And that was the point with which I wanted to address you all today, is that, I've been getting messages from a lot of you that you're struggling and you're happy to be here, but you're struggling. It's sort of stirring up these emotions. And I just want to commend you and honor you all for doing the hard work. It's not easy to take a look at head on what's going on for us. And here's the other thing. Here's the big, I don't know if it's a secret, but, we have, as a population of, in the world of advanced countries, right? So, first world countries, one of the biggest challenges they face is managing our weight. However we like to describe that, and it's getting significantly more difficult year over year over year, right? And so, forget the BMI and obesity rates and overweight rates. It doesn't matter. If you look around us, we as a human race are facing a difficult challenge being able to successfully manage our weight. And so the vast majority of people in the world struggle with being able to effectively manage our weight. And here's what I'm going to say is that I've been doing this work for long enough, thousands of patients, thousands of clients, children, adults, older adults, younger adults of all ages who find it difficult to manage and maintain a healthy weight. And so it goes beyond just finding the right, macronutrient content or makeup of foods, or like I said, elimination diet or whatever, or we wouldn't be struggling as a human race to get this figured out, which is of course why I love to do this work, because truthfully, our connection with food goes so much deeper than just making conscious food choices every day. There are so many choices about food that are led by our subconscious, habitual behavior, automaticity on a daily basis. There's so many choices about food that are driven by our biochemistry, our physiology, our emotional connection with food, our emotionally wired neural pathways. There's so many reasons why we eat that go beyond just, I know what's good for me, so I'm going to eat that. And I know what's bad for me, so I'm not going to eat that, right? That's oversimplifying the way that we make choices around food. So I'm telling you this all to say, if you're struggling with food and you're struggling with your relationship with your body, you are in the vast majority of people right now. I mean, that's just whether or not people are seeking support for it is one thing. But we know just by the rates and the rate at which the rates are climbing that if you are managing your weight effectively, you are now in the minority. You are now in the under 30% of people who have figured out how to effectively manage their weight long term. Over 70% of people struggle to figure out how to effectively manage their weight in a way that makes them feel good. And as you know, I don't talk about weight that much, really, even because it's actually not that important to me. Honestly, my belief is that weight is just a series of consistent habits that we either do or don't have in our lives. That's all it is. It's a series of the things that we do over and over and over again, or don't do over and over and over again. It's just a series of consistent habits. And so weight is actually, remember, the content is actually the least important part to me. The context is so much more important. How do I create those habits? How do I stop those habits? What is making me create those habits? What is making me have a hard time stopping those habits, right? That's the stuff that I love to dive into. And that's what we're doing here. All of the challenges that I'm giving you, all of the support that I'm giving you, have a ton of cognitive neuroscience background, behavior science background, energy medicine background. It's not just here's a journal prompt for you. These are all well-researched ideas to help you understand the intricacies and the complications that come into play when we're looking at our relationship with food. So I realize that I'm using a lot of words right now to say what I want to say, which is thank you for putting yourself out there. This work is complicated. It's not necessarily hard or difficult, but it is complex, right? There's a lot of different questions, a lot of different reasons, a lot of different factors that go into play when we're choosing food. So it's complicated work, and it can bring up difficult emotions. So thank you for hanging in there with me and doing this work together. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to support you as the complicated emotions come up. Also, just know that you're not alone. And in fact, over 70% of the population struggles with maintaining a healthy weight, and most of them are not getting support for it. They're either struggling alone, or they're on a diet or off the diet, or somewhere in that cycle right now, struggling to figure out how to maintain or manage their weight. And so the fact that you're here and you're getting support for it, just know that you're not alone, and you're actually ahead of the curve doing something about it in this way. Next week, just so you're aware, we're going to do a challenge, a sugar detox challenge. And I just wanted to tell you that ahead of time. I won't go a ton into it today. I will just drip it for you and help you understand how we're going to do it a little differently. But just in case you wanted to sort of set your week up or set your mind up or set your plan up or whatever to do a sugar detox challenge next week. Now, if sugar is already not part of your daily routine, or if you have something else that you'd like to work on, we can do that as well. Just pick whatever it is. Maybe it's alcohol, or maybe it's a salty processed food or something like that. We're going to do a detox challenge in a different way. So yes, the parameters might still be the same, which is we're going to try and avoid it for the week, but I'm going to ask you to do it in perhaps a different way than you've done it before. Ask yourself some different questions about it. Always, always, always with the permission to eat if you want it. That's the idea, is that we always have permission to eat. So today, I just really wanted to support you all, let you know that I know this is hard work. There's a lot of emotions coming up for a lot of you. Keep going with it. I'm going to keep giving you tools to work through these emotions, to address these emotions, to address these frustrations. Keep going through it. Keep showing up here. Keep reaching out to me with your questions. I will keep answering them for you. And next week's challenge is about a sugar detox. But before you go, oh my gosh, here we go again, eliminating food, stick with me, see if this feels a little bit different to you, the way that I will present it for you next week. All right, everyone, have a great weekend, and we'll pick this up next week.